Ford Field. The dream for every high school football team in the state is to run through this tunnel here in Detroit. 32 teams start in the Division I playoff race. For Davison, their mission is to get back and win another state championship just like the 2019 Cardinal team. The road to the finals is difficult, and for this Davison team, it's special. Today we will take a deep dive into the 2023 team, how they got here, what's to come, and some more surprises along the way. The road to the ring ends here, and DTV's Landon Dean shows us how Davison has gotten this far.
Davison has been on fire this season, starting with a massive bang in Week 1 against De La Salle at Atwood Stadium, their toughest opponent all season. De La Salle quickly scored, and by halftime it was 14-0. Speaking of a bang, this game was brought to a stop when a thunderstorm and a tornado warning caused the game to be continued the next day. But the sun would come out tomorrow for the Cards, and they would pull out a last-second win, 31-26, on this pass play to A.J. Hill with just 19 seconds left. After that, the Cards went on a huge 6-game winning streak. Over that time, the Cards have outscored their opponents 295-64. On to Week 8, where Davison would travel to Grand Blanc, and before the game, the Bobcats were talking all the smack, saying that they were the best in the SVL.
We're the best team in the SVL.
I know we're the best team in the SVL.
But the Cards were having none of that, going into Grand Blanc's fancy new stadium and beat them 35-21, clinching the Saginaw Valley League title. Then the Cardinals had a high-intensity game against the Lapeer Lightning. Lapeer jumped out to a 14-point lead, making Davison have to crawl their way back up. A total of 111 points scored and a 1-point lead from Davison, 56-55, the Cards secured their undefeated regular season.
Felt very, very, very good, the undefeated part, but we didn't play that game very well. Our defense, we kind of just, I wouldn't say we took them lightly, but like we didn't really expect that to happen. And they just kind of got going and kept rolling.
And on to Week 1 of the playoffs, the Cards would run it back against Lapeer, but this game was a different story.
111 points was still the total, but the difference in this game is Lapeer never had a chance. Davison would not make the same mistake twice and immediately scored on the second play of the game. After that, it was smooth sailing, and the Cards never looked back, scoring a Davison record of 76 points. Now in the district finals, Davison will face another familiar foe in the Grand Blanc Bobcats. None of this success would be possible without head coach Jake Weingars, but even he knows the real fight has only just begun.
I mean, obviously, once that 9-0 thing got done, we understood that, next season was beginning, and we're going to take it one day at a time and continue to get better. Yeah, I mean, new season, 9-0 is done and over with. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we did in the first 9 games. It's about playoff time, fighting for your playoff lives. It's win or go home, and just got to continue to work each day, get better. And it doesn't matter what you do in life, you want to be the best. So we want to obviously get to Ford Field, but we got to continue to get better. We're not perfect. Week 8 and 9, we didn't play very good. I mean, even last week we had some mishaps in some different phases of the game. We let a long kick return happen that they shouldn't have. Some guys got behind us defensively, so a lot of stuff to clean up, continue to get better, come to work each day, and go from there.
The 2019 squad was the team to beat, and almost no one could do it. Let's see where some of those guys are now and a few other Davison alumni.
In D2, some guys are making a big splash, such as Tariq Reed for the GVSU Lakers. Reed has over 400 yards on the ground and 8 total touchdowns, leading the team in both categories as well as being number 11 in Grand Valley history for yards. Moving on to another GLIAC team, Tavion Warren and Deion Brown Jr. are representing the Warriors of Wayne State. Warren has over 450 all-purpose yards, as well as Brown having over 150 yards. Moving to the D1 FCS level, Logan Pascal and Latrell Fordham are working their way up the depth chart for the Youngstown State Penguins. Last, but certainly not least, playing for the Northwestern Wildcats, Brendan Sullivan has been making the most out of his opportunities at QB for the Big Ten program.
Felt good, got the first college win under my belt, so, when my number's called again, I get to go, do the same thing, so it felt really good.
Sullivan has 3 starts for the Cats this season, throwing for 572 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and 1 pick.
You can see Davison has a history of good offensive players, but currently the LBU is Davison's star-studded lineup. Their squad this season has been on fire.
Linebacker University. These 3 guys are a family you don't want to see on the opposite side of the ball.
I wouldn't want to play linebacker with 2 other guys.
First is D1 Miami of Ohio commit, Carter Harriman. This guy is the QB of the defense and has the most tackles on the squad with 90.
No, he's real positive in practice and in the games. He's got to be positive. He tells everybody what to do. He's got all those checks, man. I don't get it. He's got them all engraved in his mind. It's just like, holy crap.
Next up is Jalen Edwards. Jalen is second most in tackles, TFLs, and sacks. He is as hard-hitting and as speedy as they come.
And he's just flying around. It seems like he's making all the plays. And you like to see that in a linebacker, especially at this level. I mean, if you can fly from one side of the field to the other and make a play, shouldn't be any scores on the board. Should just be a shutout every game. He's just having himself one heck of a season for sure.
Last but not least is Chuck Armstead. He has all the tackles and TFLs a linebacker should, but he can also fly high for a pick. He brings energy to everyone on the team and in the stands.
Yeah, I love Chuck. He's a guy who's stepped up as, one of the leaders of the defense. A vocal guy, somebody to keep the locker room loose. So I love Chuck. I love having him on the team. I think he's a great player. Just does his role, does his job well.
The linebackers set the tone for the team this season, and Coach Gartz couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Armstead, Jalen Edwards, Carter, they're mean, they're nasty. They're fast, physical, every characteristic that you want in a good linebacker, all three of them have, and very, very fortunate that they play for us because I would not want a game plan against those three.
Not on my favorite part of the show. I'm joined by WJRT Channel 12 Sports Director Brandon Green, and to my left we got Austin Sumowitz from WNEM Channel 5, DTV alumni. I mean, great guys. Great season it's been so far in high school football.
It's been just terrific so far.
Yeah, the Cardinals have been outstanding. Big matchup this Friday. We can't wait for it.
I mean, moving to this Friday, today's the game day, and it's been a great week so far. Cardinals prepping. I mean, this season has been unlike any others. Undefeated in the regular season for Davison, only had that 5 times in history. I mean, Brandon, what do you think the difference has been from this season to past Cards?
It's really, from what I've seen, is that this team, they just have it, like that little it factor. Because last year, they were really good, and they had a lot of seniors. So coming into this year, especially with Sawyer Glennie at quarterback, it was a lot of unknowns. But I think where their season really turned around was that De La Salle game at the beginning of the season. Because at Atwood, you could see that they were kind of just a little bit disjointed, just a little bit off, but being able to come back that next day and come back, I think that's where their season just flipped, and that's when they became the Davison Cardinals that we see now.
And you definitely saw, because last year, missing the playoffs was a big blow for them, but even going farther back to when I was a student here, the Cardinals, they've been producing so much talent as of late, that state championship run in 2019, but then this year, I just give all the credit right now. Coach Weingartz has done such an amazing job with this program, and it's been a complete flip of how Davison Cardinal football has been over the past few years, and they've been on an outstanding run, and we'll see if they continue it, though.
Yeah, it's second round. Already had GB once this week in their new stadium. Now they got them here. I mean, both of you guys talked about Gartz and Glennie. I mean, man, the players that have taken a big step up, especially Sawyer, his first year starting, and you cannot tell.
Amazing.
I mean, just talk about him for a little bit.
Sawyer has, he's like a conductor, and in high school football, you normally don't see it. They put a lot of, they give him a lot. Like, he's checking protections, he's doing hot routes, he's changing plays. You can see all that. So in high school, you don't normally see that. So for him to take on that responsibility and then just get the guy the ball at the right time, that's really what set this offense apart. I mean, they scored 76 points last week. So Sawyer's doing something right.
And they got weapons, too. I mean, you talk about a running back in A.J. Hill who can just absolutely tear it up. He had 3 touchdowns last week. Between Glennie and Hill combined, I think close to 500 yards between just the two of them. And you got a wide receiver like Buddy Banks-Williams. That offense is just vicious. And going up against a front like Grand Blanc, I'm interested to see how it'll look around the second time because it could be a little bit different. But I feel like after, you score 76 points last week, that's about as good of a start for the playoffs as you could want.
Yeah, and we talked about the offense, but the defense is going to hold them in this Grand Blanc game because that was kind of the struggle the last time around. And, you got Carter Harriman, everybody knows him. Mm-hmm. That whole LBU unit up there. Secondary this season has been iffy time to time, but they just got to come out there. And, talking about Grand Blanc's offense against this Davison defense, you got a lot of guys out there, especially JT Weber out there, Anthony Purdue, Jake Morrow. I mean,
the list goes on.
Exactly. And, I mean, what do they got to come out here and do just to change the result from last game?
I think we already seen it because we saw them against Lapeer give up 55 points 2 weeks ago, and then something just flipped. Even in that first drive last week, being able to force the fumble and take it back for a touchdown. So Davison is really good at adjusting and taking away what you do really well. But I'm interested to see, because it's all going to come down to the run game, because last time they played Grand Blanc, they were able to kind of hold Daniel Steele in check. So if they could do that again, it's going to bode well for the Cards.
And Grand Blanc ran the ball really well last week. I think close over 350 rushing yards, I think. And in terms of how they played in that last game, too, you look at it, there was a point where Grand Blanc almost ran away with it. They picked up a crucial fumble in the second quarter, and they were able to convert a touchdown out of it. But then Davison just didn't look back. So this Cardinals team can handle adversity. They know when Grand Blanc's on their tails, they can really start pulling away. So it's going to be a real turn to see which team is able to get the edge.
I mean, we talked about this week's matchup, but let's just talk about the brackets as a whole. This whole season, a lot of these D1 teams are very, very good this year. Honestly, some of the best talent we've seen across recent years. And I mean, let's just go to like the Lake Orions, the Salines, the Belleville. That's a big matchup. Saline and Belleville this round. I mean, the whole bracket's just loaded.
I think with D1, you really just have to wait and see, because I know we look at the scores at the end of the night, you're like, oh, that team beat that team. Like, it's, even last year, Davison and Clarkston, like, you didn't expect the game to go like that. But it all comes down to who shows up that night and who is going to be really good that night. I think that's what Davison realized from last year, is that you have to show up every game. It's not just that we're the Cardinals, we were previous state champs. No, you have to beat Grand Blanc tonight.
It's still very early in this playoffs. It's crazy that we're already playing for some hardware for this week for some district titles. So you're going to see a lot of these teams, start to put the building blocks towards Ford Field. And a game like this for Grand Blanc and Davison, this is a huge building block moment for them to try to continue that run. And you're going to see that from a lot of D1 teams this year.
And yeah, Ford Field is the only goal from every single team this season. And so far, Davison's showing out good. Grand Blanc's trying to spoil that one this week for the Cards, along with a lot of other great D1 teams. I mean, man, what a talk from you guys. Appreciate you guys joining me once again.
After an amazing 2023 regular season from the Cards, every game had its own highlight reel. It was hard to narrow it down to 5, but after much thought, we finally did. Let's take a look at 5 of the biggest plays from Davison this season. And number 5, we have an 89-yard touchdown run from A.J. Hill. He was on fire this Hoco night. As you can see, he made the defenders look silly. He juked out everyone in his way, and after Davison's offense gave him some space, all he needed was one more block from his receiver Naves, and he got it. A.J. easily walked in the end zone to put Saginaw United into their coffin. This next play was a quick one, so don't blink. Sophomore Mike Kemp got the ball from a kickoff like normal, but thanks to his special teams unit, he was able to take it 93 yards to the house to get Davison's first point of the game and get his first kickoff return TD of the year. On to number 3. During a tight game 1 against the De La Salle Pilots, quarterback for De La Salle, Sante Gasparoni, throws a pick 6 to big number 95, Jackson Clark. He just walked into the end zone to get Davison the lead late in the fourth quarter. Now going to a different kind of passing touchdown, first play of the second half. In a tie game, AJ gets the pitch to him, but instead launches the ball to Kemp for a 74-yard touchdown. Not bad for a running back who already had 1 rushing touchdown in the game as well. Now at the number 1 spot. With less than 30 seconds to go, Davison has the ball, needing points to win. Motion from AJ out to the slot, and Sawyer Glennie wastes no time to lob one over the defender to number 1 for the game-winning touchdown for the Cards. Davison had a huge year with so many more plays. Be sure to let us know what we missed by commenting on this or tagging us on our Facebook and Twitter accounts.
A championship is all these players dream of, and the community backs them week after week. A win is the only way these seniors want to leave. The road to the ring is Davison's only goal, and they don't have any plans of coming up short. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay up to date on Davison's playoff run.